Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I am going to discuss about CA Foundation Paper 1 Principles and Practice of Accounting, Chapter 1 Theoritical Framework, Unit 3 Accounting Terminology Glossary. This is the Part 3 video of Unit 3. So, if you haven't seen the Part 1 and Part 2 video of this chapter or this unit, please see the comment section and the description box. The link will be provided in the description box and also in the comment section. So, let's start with today's video. Part 2 of this chapter was a live stream, and so you can check out in the live stream section, and the Part 1 video was a streamed video or premiered video. The links will be in the description box. If you're liking my video, please don't forget to give this video a like, and also if you have any suggestion or feedback for my videos, do not hesitate or do not forget to give a comment so that I can improve in that particular portion. So in the previous part 2, the previous video or live stream, the part 2 video, we have completed till cumulative preference shares. So what was cumulative preference shares? The preference shares which has the right to cumulative dividend is known as the cumulative preference shares. So today we will be continuing with the next part, current assets. Current assets, cash and other assets that are expected to be converted into cash or consumed in the production of goods or rendering of services in the normal course of business. Cash and other assets. What are current assets? Current assets are cash and other assets that are expected to be converted into cash. Expected to be converted into cash or consumed in the production of goods or rendering of services. Usually, there are two types of businesses. Those who deal with services, rendering of services, and other part of business is rendering of service, number one, and number two is providing or production of products, means goods. There are solid goods, and also in trading of goods. So a business either may relate to products or goods, and other portion of the business might deal with rendering of services. So there are mainly two kinds. So current assets are the assets that are estimated or that are expected. The current assets are the assets that are estimated or expected to be converted into cash or utilized in production of a product or rendering of service in a normal course of business. So करंट एसेट्स क्या होता है? करंट एसेट्स वो एसेट्स है जो नॉर्मल कोर्स ऑफ बिजनेस में कैश में कन्वर्ट होने का चांस रखते हैं, या फिर जो प्रोडक्शन है, गुड्स का प्रोडक्शन है, उसमें यूज होने का, या फिर जो सर्विसेज है उसमें सर्विस देने के प्रोसेस में यूटिलाइज हो जाना चाहिए. ये जो एसेट्स है उसे ही हम लोग करंट एसेट्स कहते हैं. एक अकाउंटिंग पीरियड का करंट एसेट होता है. उस अकाउंटिंग पीरियड में जो भी एसेट्स यूज होता है रेंडरिंग ऑफ सर्विसेज या फिर प्रोडक्शन ऑफ गुड्स में, उसे ही हम लोग करंट एसेट्स कहते हैं. व्हाट आर करंट लायबिलिटीज? नेक्स्ट टॉपिक, करंट लायबिलिटीज. करंट लायबिलिटीज आर सिमिलर टू करंट एसेट्स. So next topic of us is current liabilities. Current liability including loans, deposits and bank overdraft which falls due for payment in a relatively short period, normally not more than 12 months. So for a business, and in actual terms or in prevalent terms, short period is less than or equal to 12 months. So current liabilities are the loans or obligations that are estimated to be levied or that are estimated to fall due for payment within a very short period of time, which is less than or equal to 12 months. And in our as per our generally accepted accounting principles, one accounting period mainly consists of 12 months. So the current liabilities which fall due within one accounting period, that is less than or equal to 12 months, those current liabilities are known as current liabilities. तो करंट लाइबिलिटीज क्या है? करंट लाइबिलिटीज वो लाइबिलिटीज है जो 12 महीने 12 मंथ्स या फिर उसके कम पीरियड में, कम 12 मंथ्स और लेस देन 12 मंथ्स या फिर इक्वल 12 मंथ्स में ड्यू फॉर पेमेंट होता है. अगर कोई लाइबिलिटी 12 मंथ्स और लेस देन 12 मंथ्स में पेमेंट के लिए ड्यू होता है और या फिर एक अकाउंटिंग पीरियड के अंदर पे ड्यू फॉर पेमेंट होता है, उसे ही हम लोग करंट लाइबिलिटी कहलाएंगे. So current liability is a liability including loans, deposits and bank overdraft which falls due for payment in a relatively short period. So relatively short period, not more than 12 months. That is liability less than or equal to 12 months. So here यहाँ पे मैं लिख देता हूँ, करंट लाइबिलिटी है liability for less than or equals to So current liability implies to liability that is due for payment or that is estimated to be due for payment for less than or equal to 12 months. Next, deferral. Deferral is the postponement of recognition of a revenue or expense after its related receipt or payment or incurrence of a liability to a subsequent period to which it applies. So, what is deferral? Deferral is the postponement of recognition. Deferral is the postponement of recognition of a revenue or expense after the related receipt or payment or incurrence of a liability to a subsequent period to which it applies. Let me explain this in the form of an example. So the main examples of deferral are prepaid rent and taxes, subscriptions received in advance, subscription fees received in advance, for example in case of newspapers and etc. So let us consider a event or a situation when you are paying an advance to your newspaper company for providing you with the newspapers. You are providing or giving your newspaper company rupees 1000 for the month of January. But this is December, right? Yes, this is December month, but you are paying rupees 1000 to your newspaper company for providing newspapers in the month of January. Isn't it a advance payment? So yes, if you want a correct recognition or accurate recognition of your expenses, rupees 1000 which is paid in December or during the December month should be recognized in the books of accounts in the month of January. So, the postponement of recognition in the books of accounts, the postponement made in recognition of an income or expense in the books of accounts for the presentment, accurate presentation of a income or expense or any liability is known as deferral. You are deferring the recognition of an income, expense or liability for better presentation or accurate presentation. This is known as deferral. तो deferral क्या होता है? डेफरल एक इंसिडेंस है जब एक इनकम, एक्सपेंस या फिर एक लाइबिलिटी को बुक्स में रिकॉग्नाइज करने के जो इंसिडेंस है या फिर इवेंट है उसे हम डिले करते हैं या फिर पोस्टपोन करते हैं, उसे ही हम लोग डेफरल कहते हैं। ये डिले या फिर पोस्टपोनमेंट क्यों किया जाता है? ताकि जो इनकम है, एक्सपेंस है या फिर जो लाइबिलिटी है उसे हम प्रॉपरली या फिर एक्यूरेटली बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट्स में दिखा सके या फिर एक प्रॉपर मीनिंग बन सके उस रिकॉग्निशन का। इसीलिए यहां से आता है ये कंसेप्ट डेफरल। नेक्स्ट, डेफिशिएंसी। Deficiency is the excess of liabilities over assets. Deficiency is the excess of liabilities over assets of an enterprise at a given date. When the liabilities of an enterprise is more than the assets of the enterprise on a particular date, that event or that situation is known as deficiency. Deficiency is the excess of liabilities over assets of an enterprise at a given date. The debit balance in the profit and loss statement. So, a deficiency is also stated or also depicted by a debit balance in a profit and loss account or profit and loss statement. We all know companies prepare profit and loss statement. So, a debit balance in the profit and loss statement of a company means the company is deficit of profit or deficit of proper funds in running the company. Deficit of reserves, not funds. Deficiency is the excess of liabilities over assets. जब एक एंटरप्राइज का लाइबिलिटीज का अमाउंट एसेट्स के अमाउंट से ज्यादा हो जाता है, तब उस सिचुएशन को हम लोग डेफिशिएंसी कहते हैं। नेक्स्ट, डेफिसिट। डेफिसिट इज द डेबिट बैलेंस इन द प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस स्टेटमेंट। तो यहां हम लोग क्या देखते हैं? ये डेफिशिएंसी और डेफिसिट आपस एक इंटर रिलेटेड टॉपिक है। डेफिशिएंसी और डेफिसिट इंटर रिलेटेड टॉपिक है। तो व्हाट इज डेफिसिट? डेफिसिट इज द डेबिट बैलेंस इन द प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस स्टेटमेंट। So what was deficiency? Deficiency is the debit balance in the profit and loss statement. So deficiency is the situation, okay, and deficit is the incidence. Deficit is the amount. If we talk in layman terms, deficit is the amount and deficiency is the situation. So you can write in brackets. So I'll change the color of the pen. Just a minute. I'm writing with blue. Yes, deficiency. So deficiency is a situation. Deficiency is a situation and deficit is a monetary value. डेफिशिएंसी इज ए सिचुएशन, डेफिशिएंसी एक सिचुएशन है। कब? वो सिचुएशन जब एक कंपनी का या फिर एक एंटरप्राइज का जो लाइबिलिटीज है उसका एसेट से ज्यादा हो जाता है, उसे हम डेफिशिएंसी कहते हैं। और जितने अमाउंट से प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस अकाउंट का डेबिट बैलेंस होता है, उस अमाउंट को हम डेफिसिट अमाउंट या फिर डेफिसिट बैलेंस कहते हैं। नेक्स्ट, depletion. Depletion is a measure of exhaustion of a wasting asset represented by periodic write-off of cost or other substituted value. Depletion is the measure of exhaustion of a wasting asset. We all know a car for a businessman or a car for a person is a depreciating asset or a wasting asset. An old car is a wasting asset. What is a wasting asset? Wasting asset is such asset whose value depreciates over a time. Over the period of time, the value of an asset depreciates at a more speedy rate or a more eager rate. In that condition or that asset, the depreciating value, the fast depreciating value of that asset is known as depletion. The asset depletes. So depletion is a measure of exhaustion. Depletion is the measure of exhaustion of a wasting asset represented by periodic write-off of the cost or substituted value. So, we know about depreciation. We have learned in class 11 and 12. The next topic of us is also depreciation. In depreciation, every year or in every accounting period, we write off a percentage of the cost of an asset. In every year, we write off a percentage of the cost of the asset to show or to depict that the value of the asset depreciates or decreases, goes down the line for over a period of time due to its wear and tear. So simple in that case, similarly in case of wasting assets, the depletion or the decrease, the downward trend in the cost or the value of the wasting asset is known as depletion. Next topic, depreciation. Depreciation is a measure of wearing out, consumption or other loss of value of a depreciable asset. So what is depreciation? Depreciation is the measure of wearing out, consumption or other loss of value of a depreciable asset. So what is the difference between wasting asset and a depreciable asset? You should give me in the comment section below, okay? Yes, I will also be providing in the pinned comment, but before that, you should provide me the difference between a wasting asset and a depreciable asset. Depreciation is a measure of the wearing out or consumption or other loss of value of a depreciable asset arising from use, effluxion of time, or obsolescence through technology and market changes. Any asset for the business which depreciates or whose value decreases over a period of time is assumed to be having a decreasing trend in its value due to its wear and tear, for its obsolescence, the increasing or the invention of new technology. Due to its usage, daily usage, its wear and tear happens, and thus the value of such assets, the assets decreases over a period of time. In that case, the process of decrease in the value of depreciable asset is known as depreciation, and the value and the process of decrease in the value of wasting assets is known as depletion. Arising, okay, this is done. Depreciation is allocated so as to charge a fair proportion of the depreciable amount in each accounting period during the expected useful life of the asset. So the expected useful life of the asset is measured or estimated, and throughout the estimated useful life of the business of the asset, the estimated useful life of the asset is divided into equal accounting periods, and throughout those accounting periods the value of its decrease in the cost or decrease in the value is written off from the books, and that value is known as depreciation amount or depreciation value. Depreciable amount. So what is depreciable amount? Everyone knows the value or the amount by which the depreciable assets or depreciating asset decreases over a period of time in an accounting period is known as depreciable amount. So let's learn from the book. Depreciable amount. Depreciable amount of a depreciating asset is its historical cost or other amount substituted for historical cost in the financial statements less the estimated residual value. So, the amount by which the value of our depreciable asset decreases in an accounting period is known as depreciable amount. So, this line or this paragraph given in the book is similar to this. The book says historical cost less residual value is the depreciable amount, and I am saying historic cost or historical cost less depreciable amount equals to residual value. Both are same, right? Yes. So let's give a written description about this. According to the book, yes, according to the book, this is given. Historic cost less residual value. The book says this. And similarly, I am explaining in an easier manner. If you understand this, this would be this equation or this uh, theory or this concept would become very easy for you. According to me, S, I am saying historic cost less depreciating amount or depreciable amount gives the residual value. And according to the book, historic cost less residual value gives the depreciating amount. Yes, both means the same. Okay. According to the book, historical cost less residual value is the depreciating amount. And I am explaining in this manner, historic cost less depreciating amount is equals to the residual value. So if we draw a depreciable amount, residual value. So it is just a crisscross. Did you get it? Yes. I hope you are getting it. If you have any problem or if you get confused, please repeat this portion and see it once again. It would be beneficial for you. And yes, you can understand better. I am erasing it. Yes. Yes. I hope you got this. You got this point. So, depreciable amount. Depreciable amount of a depreciable asset. Depreciable amount. Depreciable amount is only possible for a depreciable asset. एक depreciable asset के लिए ही एक depreciable amount होता है. Is the historic cost less estimated value. His depreciable amount is the historic cost less depreciable value. तो अगर हम लोग यहाँ पे भी लिख दे depreciable amount implies cost, okay, minus cost minus residual value. So depreciable amount implies to cost or historic cost minus residual value. Next, depreciable assets. Depreciable assets are assets which are expected to be used during more than one accounting period, have a limited useful life, are held by an enterprise for use in the production or supply of goods and services, for rental to others, or for administrative purposes, and not for purpose of sale in the ordinary course of business. So, what is a depreciable asset? Depreciable assets are assets. Depreciable assets are assets which are expected to be used during more than one accounting period. Expected to be used during more than one accounting period. एक accounting period से ज़्यादा उसका use होना चाहिए, उसे ही हम लोग depreciable asset कहलाएंगे. Have a limited useful life. जो depreciable asset है वो assets है जिसका एक यूजफुल लिमिटेड यूजफुल लाइफ है. ऐसा नहीं है जो एक एसेट खरीद लिया तो फिर वो सालों साल जीवन भर चलता रहेगा, एक अनलिमिटेड लाइफ के लिए चलता रहेगा. वो पॉसिबल नहीं है. दैट इज नॉट पॉसिबल. दैट इज बियॉन्ड ह्यूमन दिस वर्ल्ड. ओके. Yes, depreciable assets should have a limited useful life, are held by the enterprise not for the purpose of ordinary course of business. Depreciable assets are those assets which are also not held by the business to be sold during ordinary course of business. Stock के हिसाब से नहीं होना चाहिए. Depreciable asset should not be in the form of stock to be sold during its ordinary course of business. So, depreciable assets are held by the enterprise not for the purpose of sale in ordinary course of business. कोई भी कारण के लिए वो एसेट होल्ड होना चाहिए एक्सेप्ट जो पर्पस सेल पर, एक्सेप्ट ऑर्डिनरी कोर्स ऑफ बिजनेस के सेल के सिवा. आई रिपीट, डेप्रिशिएबल एसेट जो है वो किसी भी पर्पस के लिए होल्ड हो सकता है एक बिजनेस के अंदर, सिवा कि वो ऑर्डिनरी कोर्स ऑफ बिजनेस में सेल नहीं होना चाहिए। वो डेप्रिशिएबल एसेट, वो हम लोग बहुत बहुत साल के बाद एक बार सेल कर सकते हैं, वो ऑर्डिनरी कोर्स नहीं हुआ, ठीक है। सो व्हाट आर डेप्रिशिएबल एसेट्स? डेप्रिशिएबल एसेट्स आर द एसेट्स Depreciable assets are the assets that are expected to be used for more than one accounting period, have a limited useful life, are held by an enterprise not for the purpose of sale in the ordinary course of business. These three points must be satisfied. I think you are getting. Yes, these 3 points must be satisfied. These 3 points must be satisfied so that it becomes a depreciable asset or fulfills the terms to become a depreciable asset. Next, depreciation method. Any method of calculating depreciation for an accounting period. Depreciation method is any method of calculating depreciation in an accounting period. एक अकाउंटिंग पीरियड के अंदर जो भी मेथड यूज करना चाहिए या फिर किया जा सकता है डेप्रिसिएशन कैलकुलेट करने के लिए, उसे ही हम लोग डेप्रिसिएशन मेथड कहलाएंगे। हम लोग क्लास 11-12 में डेप्रिसिएशन पढ़ चुके हैं। हम लोग 2-3 तरीके का जो डेप्रिसिएशन है ऑलरेडी पढ़ चुके हैं। लेट्स रिवाइज दोस, ओके। यस, सो फर्स्ट एक मेथड होता है क्या? स्ट्रेट लाइन मेथड। एक मेथड होता है WDV, रिटन डाउन वैल्यू मेथड। ये दोनों हम लोग पढ़ चुके हैं, ये एग्जाम्पल्स है। स्ट्रेट लाइन मेथड, रिटन डाउन वैल्यू मेथड, ये सब एग्जाम्पल्स है डेप्रिसिएशन मेथड का। ये दोनों एग्जाम्पल्स है, ठीक है ना। स्ट्रेट लाइन मेथड, रिटन डाउन वैल्यू मेथड, these are the examples of depreciation method. There are more such examples which you are going to learn in your future CF intermediate classes. Depreciation rate. Our next topic is depreciation rate. Depreciation rate is a percentage applied to the historical cost. Depreciation rate is a percentage applied to the historical cost or substituted amount of a depreciable asset a percentage applied to the historical cost. This is enough. Depreciation rate is the percentage applied on the historical cost in the form of depreciation. While discussing depreciation, I said that depreciation is the depletion or decrease in the value decrease in the value of a depreciating asset by a fixed rate throughout the estimated useful life of a depreciating asset. That equal rate or equivalent rate or same rate is known as the depreciation rate. The rate by which or the rate using which depreciation of a depreciating asset is calculated. Next, diminishing balance method. Diminishing balance method is a method of depreciation, or a method of depreciation is known as the depreciation method. Here we have learned about depreciation method. So diminishing balance method is an example of depreciation method. which is also known as written down value method, WDV method. We have talked over here. This is given here. So let's discuss what is diminishing. I have made this. Okay. Diminishing value or diminishing balance method. A method under which the periodic change for depreciation of an asset is computed by applying a fixed percentage to the historical cost less accumulated depreciation. Diminishing balance method or written down value method is a method for calculation of depreciation according to which a periodic charge for depreciation computed by applying a fixed percentage. What is this fixed percentage? It is the depreciation rate. This fixed percentage is the depreciation rate. So yes, this fixed percentage is the depreciation rate. Periodic charge for depreciation of an asset as per or applying a fixed percentage. Fixed percentage is the depreciation rate to the historical cost less accumulated depreciation. So let's simplify it. Written down value or diminishing value method is calculated as per depreciation rate percentage. Depreciation rate is always in the form of percentage of depreciation rate of historic cost minus accumulated depreciation. This is the written down or diminishing balance method. तो डिमिनिशिंग बैलेंस मेथड क्या है? डिमिनिशिंग बैलेंस मेथड एक मेथड फॉर कैलकुलेशन ऑफ डेप्रिसिएशन है जहां पे जो एसेट का हिस्टोरिक कॉस्ट है वहां से एक्यूमुलेटेड डेप्रिसिएशन लेस करके जो अमाउंट रहता है या फिर जो बैलेंस रहता है उसके ऊपर एक फिक्स परसेंटेज यूज करके जो डेप्रिसिएशन अमाउंट निकलता है उस मेथड को हम लोग डिमिनिशिंग वैल्यू मेथड या फिर रिटन डाउन वैल्यू मेथड कहते हैं. रिटन डाउन वैल्यू मेथड या फिर डिमिनिशिंग बैलेंस मेथड एक मेथड ऑफ डेप्रिसिएशन है. डेप्रिशिएट कैलकुलेट करने का एक मेथड होता है. आई होप आप समझ गए. अगर आपको कोई प्रॉब्लम है आप कमेंट सेक्शन में लिख सकते हैं. प्लीज लेट मी नो इन द कमेंट सेक्शन इफ यू आर हैविंग एनी डाउट रिगार्डिंग दिस. I will try my level best to explain it once again in a short video. Next topic, discount. Yes, discount. Discount is a reduction from the list price, quoted price or invoice price. Yet these three are same, means equivalent. Okay, not equal but equivalent. They are similar, not same. डिस्काउंट जो है वो एक रिडक्शन है किसके ऊपर और या फिर किस से रिडक्शन? लिस्ट प्राइस से या फिर कोटेड प्राइस से या फिर इनवॉइस प्राइस से. लिस्ट प्राइस, कोटेड प्राइस और ये इनवॉइस प्राइस ये सब एक ही जैसा होता है. सो डिस्काउंट इज अ रिडक्शन फ्रॉम द लिस्ट प्राइस, कोटेड प्राइस और इनवॉइस प्राइस. इट ऑल्सो रेफर्स टू द प्राइस फॉर obtaining payment on a bill before the maturity. Also refers to the price for obtaining payment on a bill before its maturity. I hope this thing is covered under bills of exchange chapter in your class 11-12. in your board exams, class 12 board exams. I hope this is covered. So let me explain once again. What is discount? Discount is a reduction. Discount एक reduction है किससे? लिस्ट प्राइस से या फिर इनवॉइस प्राइस से, वहां से रिडक्शन. डिस्काउंट एक चीज के ऊपर भी और एक चीज पे ये भी होता है. मान लेना आपके पास एक बिल्स ऑफ एक्सचेंज है जो मैच्योर होने का, जिसका मैच्योरिटी डेट February 2023 में है, 28 February 2023. लेकिन आपको उस अमाउंट, आपके पास कैश का शॉर्टेज हो गया है. आप चाहते हो कि उस बिल्स ऑफ एक्सचेंज के रिटर्न में या फिर उस बिल्स ऑफ एक्सचेंज को देकर कैश लेना. कैश कब लेना चाहते हो? 31 दिसंबर 2022 को. ये जो 2 महीने का डिफरेंस हो जा रहा है ना, आपको जिस व्यक्ति या फिर जिस बैंक कैश देगा वो तो पागल नहीं है. जो बैंक या फिर जो व्यक्ति आपको बिल्स ऑफ एक्सचेंज 2 महीने बिल्स ऑफ एक्सचेंज लेकर 2 महीने पहले कैश दे रहा है, वो तो पागल नहीं है. वो भी बिजनेस कर रहा है ना. इसीलिए वो एक चार्ज कटता है या फिर जो वो एक इंटरेस्ट कटता है. वो इंटरेस्ट को हम लोग डिस्काउंट कहते हैं. अगर आपका बिल्स ऑफ एक्सचेंज ₹10 लाख का होगा, अगर आप लोग 2 महीने पहले उसको रिडीम करना चाहते हो ना, आपका एक कमीशन या फिर आपका इंटरेस्ट, जिसका शुद्ध नाम है डिस्काउंट, आपको एक डिस्काउंट के रूप पे आप उसका चार्ज पे करना पड़ेगा. वो उसे ही हम डिस्काउंट कहते हैं. अगर 10 लाख रुपीस का बिल्स ऑफ एक्सचेंज है ना, आपको 9,60,000 या फिर 9,40,000 ही मिलेगा. वो जो 40,000 या फिर 60,000 का जो अमाउंट है, जो बैंक या फिर जो व्यक्ति आपको कैश प्रोवाइड करता है बिल्स ऑफ एक्सचेंज के रिटर्न में या फिर उसके जगह पे, वो डिस्काउंट कहलाता है. नेक्स्ट टॉपिक, डिविडेंड. सो वी ऑल, everybody, most of our CS students, we are interested in investing in the business, in the stock market, right? Yes, we all invest in the stock market. We all are acclimatized with this term, dividend. Dividend is a distribution to shareholders out of profits or reserves available from this purpose. Available for this purpose. Dividend is the distribution to shareholders out of profits or reserves available for this purpose. Reserves available for this purpose and out of profits. So dividend क्या है? Dividend वो पोर्शन है या फिर वो डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ अमाउंट है जो प्रॉफिट के अंदर से या फिर एक रिजर्व के अंदर से एक कंपनी देते हैं उसके शेयर होल्डर्स को. क्यों? एक प्रॉफिट का डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन या फिर एप्रोप्रिएशन ऑफ प्रॉफिट के रूप में जो कंपनी देता है उसे हम डिविडेंड कहते हैं. यही बात पे आप कमेंट सेक्शन में लिख दीजिए कि आपके फेवरेट स्टॉक मार्केट, आपके फेवरेट शेयर्स कौन कौन कंपनी का है, कौन कौन कंपनी का शेयर्स आप लोग पसंद करते हो हमारे इंडियन स्टॉक एक्सचेंज में. तुरंत कमेंट सेक्शन में लिख दीजिए, ठीक है ना. नेक्स्ट टॉपिक, एंटिटी कंसेप्ट. Entity concept is already covered in Unit 2. Okay, in I think the video number 2 of this channel also, the Unit 2 video, Paper-1, Chapter-1, Unit 2 of Accounting CA Foundation. Entity concept, the view of the relationship between the accounting entity and its owners, which regard the entity as a separate person distinct and apart from its owners. Entity concept क्या है? Entity concept says that an entity is a separate person distinct and apart from its owners. एक entity, एक business entity अपने owners से बिल्कुल different person है. An entity is a separate or distinct person apart or distinct person from its owners. The owner of a business and the owner of a business and the business is not the same. They are different. They are different entity. They are a separate person. This is given in the entity concept. Entity concept is detailed in means I have explained in detail about the entity concept in paper in unit 2 video. Go check it out. Okay. Equity share. Our next topic, equity share. A share which is not a preference share. इक्विटी शेयर क्या है? जो एक प्रेफरेंस शेयर नहीं है. बहुत आसान सा एग्जांपल. An equity share is a share which is not a preference share, also sometimes called as ordinary share. यहीं पे आ जाता है एक टॉपिक, प्रेफरेंस शेयर क्या होता है? What are preference shares? Equity shares are those shares which are not preference shares. But what are preference shares? Preference shares will be coming in this chapter itself in the upcoming pages. But for an introduction or for your satisfaction, I am giving a short definition. Preference shares. Preference shares are those shares. Preference shares वो shares होता है एक कंपनी में जो एक preferential right carry करता है अपने डिविडेंड के पेमेंट के वक्त, और जब एक कंपनी वाइंड अप होता है अपने कैपिटल को रिपेमेंट करने के वक्त, जिसका प्रेफरेंशियल राइट होता है या फिर प्रेफरेंशियल राइट कैरी करता है, उसे ही हम लोग प्रेफरेंस शेयर कहलाएंगे. सो व्हाट इज प्रेफरेंस शेयर? प्रेफरेंस शेयर इज आर शेयर्स. ओके, just wait a minute. Preference shares are shares carrying preferential rights. Preference shares are the shares carrying preferential rights. लेकिन प्रेफरेंस शेयर्स में एक राइट नहीं होता है. क्या है वो? प्रेफरेंस शेयर होल्डर्स को वोटिंग राइट्स नहीं मिलता है. वो वोटिंग राइट्स जो है ना सिर्फ इक्विटी शेयर्स को मिलता है. ओनली द इक्विटी शेयर होल्डर्स enjoy the voting rights in a company. The preference shares of a company, the preference shareholders of a company does not enjoy the voting rights. So this is a benefit of equity shares. I am giving over here. Voting rights implies to equity shares. Equity shares मतलब ही voting rights होगा. Preference shares के केस में voting rights नहीं मिलता है. बस यही टॉपिक है या फिर यही मेरा उद्देश्य है आपको समझाने का. नेक्स्ट, exchange difference. Exchange difference is the difference resulting from reporting the same number of units of a foreign currency in the reporting currency at a different exchange rate. What is exchange difference? Exchange difference is the difference resulting from reporting the same number of units of a foreign currency in the reporting currency at a different exchange rate. For example, we all know the exchange rate of $1 for 1 Indian rupee is $1 is equals to almost 80 Indian rupees. So what is the exchange rate? Exchange rate is rupees 80. If $1 or $1 is equal to 80 rupees. So if there it gives rise to an exchange difference. 1000 US dollars will not be equal to 1000 Indian rupees. Did you get my point? 1000 US dollars. So let us take this as US dollars. 1000 US dollars would not be equivalent to 1000 Indian rupees. It would be equal to 80,000 Indian rupees. So this difference, 1000 US dollars, 80,000 Indian rupees, this difference is known as the exchange difference. एक्सचेंज डिफरेंस क्या होता है? एक्सचेंज डिफरेंस वो डिफरेंस है जो डिफरेंट एक्सचेंज रेट के होने से जो डिफरेंस क्रिएट होता है एक करेंसी के अंदर या फिर एक मॉनेटरी वैल्यू के अंदर, उसे ही हम लोग एक्सचेंज डिफरेंस कहते हैं. नेक्स्ट, एक्सपेंडिचर. एक्सपेंडिचर इज इनकरिंग अ लायबिलिटी, disbursement of cash or transfer of property for the purpose of obtaining assets, goods or services. Expenditure क्या है? Expenditure is the incurring of liability, disbursement of cash, transfer of property for the purpose क्या है? Obtaining assets, goods or services. एक एसेट को या फिर एक गुड को या फिर एक सर्विस को अक्वायर करने के लिए जो डिसबर्समेंट ऑफ कैश होता है, कैश देना होता है, या फिर एक प्रॉपर्टी को देना होता है, या फिर एक लायबिलिटी जनरेट होता है, उसे ही हम लोग एक्सपेंडिचर कहते हैं. नेक्स्ट, एक्सपेंस. एक्सपेंस इज अ कॉस्ट रिलेटिंग टू द ऑपरेशंस ऑफ एन अकाउंटिंग पीरियड or to the revenue earned during the period or the benefits of which do not extend beyond the period. Expense is the cost relating to operations. Expense is the cost relating to operations of an accounting period or to revenue earned during the period or the benefits of which do not exchange beyond that period, beyond that accounting period. Expense क्या होता है? Expense वो ही कॉस्ट है जो ऑपरेशंस के लिए या फिर एक रेवेन्यू को जनरेट करने के लिए किया जाता है या फिर इनकर किया जाता है, जो कॉस्ट, उसे ही हम लोग एक्सपेंस कहते हैं. एक्सपेंस वो भी कॉस्ट है जो कॉस्ट एक बेनिफिट को जनरेट करने के लिए होता है, जिस बेनिफिट एक अकाउंटिंग पीरियड के अंदर ही सीमित रहेगा, उसे हम एक्सपेंस कहते हैं. नेक्स्ट, एक्सपायर्ड कॉस्ट. एक्सपायर्ड कॉस्ट इज दैट पोर्शन ऑफ एन एक्सपेंडिचर from which no further benefit is expected, also termed as expense. Expired cost वो एक एक्सपेंडिचर का वो पार्ट होता है या फिर वो पोर्शन होता है जिसके जो बेनिफिट है, जिसके एक एक्सपेंडिचर का एक बेनिफिट होता है. हम लोग एक एक्सपेंस कर रहे हैं, हम लोग अपने सीए के डिग्री पे एक एक्सपेंडिचर कर रहे हैं ना, जो रजिस्ट्रेशन कॉस्ट है उसका एक बेनिफिट है, हम लोग को एक डिग्री मिलेगा. वो एक्सपेंस जिसका कुछ बेनिफिट आना अब पॉसिबल ही नहीं है, एक एक्सपेंस जिसके आधारित एक बेनिफिट को आना बिल्कुल पॉसिबल ही नहीं है, उसे हम एक्सपायर्ड कॉस्ट कहते हैं. एक्सपायर्ड कॉस्ट इज द पोर्शन ऑफ एन एक्सपेंस in return of which expense no benefit is estimated or no benefit is possible. That type of expense in return of which no benefit is possible is known as expired cost. Next, extraordinary items. Extraordinary items are the income or expenses that arise from events or transactions that are clearly distinct from the ordinary activities of an enterprise and therefore are not expected to recur frequently or regularly. एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी आइटम्स वो आइटम्स है या फिर वो ट्रांजैक्शंस है एक बिजनेस के अंदर जो एक अकाउंटिंग पीरियड में या फिर एक बिजनेस का जो लाइफ साइकिल होता है, जब वो एक बिजनेस शुरू होता है और एक बिजनेस खत्म होता है, उस लाइफ साइकिल के अंदर बहुत लिमिटेड टाइम ही होता है या फिर एक बार ही होता है। उसका बार बार होना, बार बार रिपीट होना पॉसिबल नहीं है या फिर चांस नहीं है, उसे हम लोग एक्स्ट्रा ऑर्डिनरी आइटम कहते हैं। एक्स्ट्रा ऑर्डिनरी आइटम्स आर दोज ट्रांजैक्शंस और इवेंट्स द रिकरिंग ऑफ विच इज नॉट पॉसिबल और इज नॉट एस्टिमेटेड। That type of item which is not expected to occur or which do not occur repeatedly during the life of a business is known as extraordinary item. Fair value. Our next topic is fair value. Fair value is the amount for which an asset could be exchanged or a liability settled between knowledgeable willing parties in the arm's length transaction. Fair value is the amount. Fair value is the amount for which an asset could be exchanged or a liability could be settled between knowledgeable willing parties in an arm's length transaction. एक ट्रांजैक्शन हो रहा है, एक जो बायस नहीं है, जो इंडिपेंडेंट है, एक ट्रांजैक्शन जो इंडिपेंडेंट है कुछ इन्फ्लुएंस से, वो ट्रांजैक्शन में एक नॉलेजेबल और विलिंग पर्सन से जो ट्रांजैक्शन होना चाहिए एक एसेट को देने लेने के लिए या फिर एक लायबिलिटी को खत्म करने के लिए, वो जो वैल्यू, जिस वैल्यू पे ये ट्रांजैक्शन होना चाहिए या फिर हो रहा है, उसे हम लोग फेयर वैल्यू कहेंगे। Fair value is the amount using which the amount in return of which an asset could be exchanged or a liability can be disbursed or destroyed. A liability could be destroyed in between a transaction by knowledgeable and willing person. वो पर्सन, जिस टू पर्सन्स के अंदर एक ट्रांजैक्शन हो रहा है, वो नॉलेजेबल भी होना चाहिए और विलिंग भी होना चाहिए। उस ट्रांजैक्शन में जो अमाउंट होता है एक एसेट को लेने देने के लिए या फिर एक लायबिलिटी को खत्म करने के लिए, उसे हम लोग फेयर वैल्यू कहेंगे। नेक्स्ट टॉपिक इज फेयर मार्केट वैल्यू। फेयर मार्केट वैल्यू, द प्राइस दैट वुड बी agreed to in an open and unrestricted market between knowledgeable and willing parties dealing at arm's length who are fully informed and are not under any compulsion to transact. Fair value market. Fair value market. Fair value market is the price that would be agreed to an open and unrestricted market. The market should be open and unrestricted. The market should be open and unrestricted between the transaction should be between knowledgeable and willing parties. The parties should be knowledgeable and willing. Dealing at arm's length were fully informed and are not in compulsion to transact. The parties should be fully informed about the product or the incidents, and also they should not be in any compulsion to make the transaction happen. First charge, a charge having priority over other charges. Charge is already discussed in our part 2 video. Okay, if you have forgotten the charge, you should go to the part 2 video and see what is a charge. First charge is a charge having priority, the first priority. We say no, this person is having the first priority. So the charge which has the first priority over other charges is known as first charge. Next, first in, first out, or FIFO. FIFO, FIFO. First in, first out. By the word itself we can understand. First in, first out. जो चीज फर्स्ट इन होगा वो चीज ही फर्स्ट आउट होगा. So first in, first out. Computation of the cost of items sold or consumed. Computation of the cost of items sold or consumed during a period as through they were sold or consumed in order of their acquisition. जब जब एक्विजिशन होता है तब तक यूज या फिर सेल होता है. फर्स्ट इन, फर्स्ट आउट. जो चीज फर्स्ट इन होगा वो चीज फर्स्ट आउट होगा. जो चीज फर्स्ट एक्विजिशन होगा, जिस चीज का फर्स्ट में पहले में एक्विजिशन होगा उस चीज का ही फर्स्ट सेल या फिर कंजम्पशन होगा. उसे हम लोग कहते हैं फर्स्ट इन, फर्स्ट आउट. The item or the asset that is acquired, that has its first acquisition, should be used or should be used or sold first. The item which is first in should first out. First in, first out. Fixed asset. Our next topic, fixed asset. Fixed asset, asset held with the intention of being used for the purpose of producing or providing goods or services and is not held for sale in the normal course of business. Fixed assets क्या है? What are fixed assets? Fixed assets are the assets held with the intention of being used for the purpose of producing or providing goods or services. The assets which are held by a business in the intention or for the purpose to provide or produce goods and services and not for the purpose of sale in the ordinary course of business are known as fixed assets. Fixed cost. Our next topic, fixed cost. The cost of production which by its very nature remains relatively unaffected in a defined period of time by variations in the volume of production. Fixed asset is the cost of production. Fixed asset is the cost of production which in a defined period of time remains unaffected by the units of production. This is the gist. Fixed cost is the production cost that remains unaffected by the number of units of production. So, fixed cost is the cost of production which by its very nature remains relatively unaffected in a defined period of time by variations in the volume of production. So, let us sum it up. Fixed cost is production cost. Fixed cost is the production cost unaffected by units Fixed cost is the production cost unaffected by units produced. Very simple? Yes. Fixed deposit. We all know our parents keep money in banks or save money in banks in the form of fixed deposits. Fixed deposits are prevalent to give the lowest interest or lowest return for invested money. We all know, and we in the era of YouTube, we all see YouTube shorts regarding the negative side of fixed assets, fixed deposits. Fixed deposit. Fixed deposit. Deposit for a specified period and at a specified rate of interest. Deposit. Deposit of what? Deposit of money for a specified period of time for a specified rate of interest. Time is also the period, the time period is also specified, and the rate of interest is also specified. Both are specified. फिक्स डिपॉजिट वो डिपॉजिट्स है या फिर वो मॉनेटरी डिपॉजिट्स है जो एक फिक्स्ड टाइम पीरियड के लिए एक फिक्स्ड रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट पे डिपॉजिट रहता है या फिर जमा रहता है, उसे हम लोग फिक्स्ड डिपॉजिट कहते हैं. सभी को पता है, राइट? वेरी सिंपल. फिक्स्ड और स्पेसिफिक चार्ज. Fixed or specific charge, a charge which attaches to a particular asset which is identified when the charge is created, and the identity of that charge does not change during the substance of the charge. Subsistence of the charge. Fixed or specific charge, a charge which attaches to a particular asset. एक चार्ज है, हम लोग को चार्ज के बारे में पता है ना, पार्ट 2 वीडियो में डिस्कस्ड है. चार्ज एक पर्टिकुलर चार्ज जो एक पर्टिकुलर एसेट के साथ रिलेटेड है या फिर एक पर्टिकुलर एसेट पे आधारित है जो चार्ज, और जिसका आइडेंटिफाइड व्हेन चार्ज इज क्रिएटेड एंड आइडेंटिटी ऑफ द एसेट डज नॉट चेंज ड्यूरिंग द सबसिस्टेंस ऑफ द चार्ज. जब तक वो चार्ज रहेगा वो एक एसेट, एक पर्टिकुलर एसेट पे ही आधारित रहेगा और डिपेंडेंट भी रहेगा. फिक्स्ड और स्पेसिफिक चार्ज इज क्रिएटेड ऑन अ पर्टिकुलर एसेट. Fixed or specific charge is created on a particular asset, and that particular asset up to the period for which the charge is created or charge remains active, the form of the asset or the amount of the asset should never change or should never vary. Next, floating charge. Floating charge, a general charge on some or all assets of an enterprise which are not attached to a specific asset and are given as a security against it. फ्लोटिंग चार्ज वो चार्ज है जो एसेट्स पे क्रिएट होता है. कौन कौन एसेट्स? जिस एसेट्स का फिक्स्ड या फिर स्पेसिफाइड वैल्यू नहीं होना चाहिए, जिसका वैल्यू एक बिजनेस में फ्लक्चुएट हो सकता है, उसे ही हम फ्लोटिंग चार्ज कहते हैं. फ्लोटिंग चार्ज इज अ चार्ज क्रिएटेड ऑन एन एसेट. द वैल्यू ऑफ दैट एसेट कैन चेंज or fluctuate or float during the business cycle or during the life of that charge. Such charge is known as floating charge. Financial instrument. So, what is financial instrument? Financial instrument is any contract that gives rise to both financial asset of an enterprise and a financial liability or equity share of another enterprise. Financial instrument is any contract that gives rise to both financial asset for one enterprise and financial liability for other enterprise. The enterprise which would receive money which is entitled to receive money for the contract is known as the receiver, or means recorded in the form of a fixed asset, financial asset, and that means financial instrument becomes a financial asset. And the company which is entitled to pay, should record that financial instrument in the form of a financial liability. तो फाइनेंशियल इंस्ट्रूमेंट क्या है? फाइनेंशियल इंस्ट्रूमेंट वो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है जिस कॉन्ट्रैक्ट के वजह से एक कंपनी के लिए फाइनेंशियल एसेट होता है, क्रिएट होता है, और दूसरे कंपनी के लिए फाइनेंशियल लायबिलिटी क्रिएट होता है। एक कंपनी को अमाउंट पे करना होता है और एक कंपनी को पेमेंट रिसीव करना होता है। नेक्स्ट, फॉरेन करेंसी। Our next topic is foreign currency. Foreign currency is a currency other than the reporting currency of an enterprise. Foreign currency वो currency है जो different है reporting currency से। Foreign currency is the currency other than reporting currency of that enterprise. For example, an Indian company should report its financial statements in Indian rupees. For that Indian company, US dollars is a foreign currency. But similarly, for a US based company, US dollars is its reporting currency. It should report its financial statements in US dollars. Similarly, for that US based company, Indian rupees is a foreign currency. And thus, फॉरेन करेंसी क्या होता है? फॉरेन करेंसी वो करेंसी है जो रिपोर्टिंग करेंसी या फिर बेस करेंसी से अलग होता है। नेक्स्ट, फॉरफिटेड शेयर्स। फॉरफिटेड शेयर्स, अ शेयर टू विच टाइटल इज लॉस्ट बाय अ मेंबर फॉर नॉन पेमेंट ऑफ कॉल मनी or default in fulfilling any engagement between the members or expulsion of members where the article specifically provide therefore. Forfeited share वो share है, forfeited share is a share whose title is lost by a member. Forfeited share is that share whose title is lost by its member for non-payment of call money. कॉल मनी को नहीं पे करने के वजह से एक कंपनी का शेयर का जो राइट है वो लूज हो जाता है एक मेंबर से, उसे ही हम लोग फॉरफिटेड शेयर कहते हैं। सो फॉरफिटेड शेयर इज अ शेयर whose title is lost by its member for non-payment of call money or default in fulfilling an engagement. एंगेजमेंट को फुलफिल नहीं करने के वजह से जो भी एक शेयर का राइट चला जा सकता है उसे भी हम लोग फॉरफिटेड शेयर ही कहेंगे। नेक्स्ट, फ्री रिजर्व। A reserve the utilization of which is not restricted in any manner. Free reserve is that reserve that can be utilized in any form, in any process or any way, the utilization of which is not defined by anyone. Free reserve वो reserve है जो जहां पर भी मन चाहे कंपनी का वहां पर जो रिजर्व यूज हो सकता है उसे ही हम लोग फ्री रिजर्व कहते हैं। नेक्स्ट, फंक्शनल क्लासिफिकेशन। फंक्शनल क्लासिफिकेशन, अ सिस्टम ऑफ क्लासिफिकेशन ऑफ एक्सपेंसेस एंड रेवेन्यूज एंड द कोरेस्पॉन्डिंग एसेट्स एंड लायबिलिटीज टू ईच फंक्शन और एक्टिविटी rather than reference to their nature. Functional classification. What is functional classification? A system of classification of expense and revenue and the corresponding assets and liabilities to each function or activity. एक फंक्शन या फिर एक्टिविटी के आधारित जो क्लासिफिकेशन होता है एक एक्सपेंस का, रेवेन्यू का, एसेट का या फिर लायबिलिटी का, उसे ही हम लोग फंक्शनल क्लासिफिकेशन कहते हैं। फंक्शनल क्लासिफिकेशन इज द क्लासिफिकेशन ऑफ अ रेवेन्यू, एक्सपेंस, एसेट और लायबिलिटी डिपेंडिंग ऑन द फंक्शन or activity of that revenue, expense, income, or revenue, expense, income, expenditure, asset, liability, depending on its function or activity, is known as functional classification. So I have done till here in this video. This was the part 3 video. I understand this unit 3, the glossary, is a pretty good chapter, pretty big chapter. So this is all for today. This is all for this video. I will be uploading a part 4 video for this chapter, this unit as well. So if you are liking my video, subscribe to my channel and give this video a like. If you have any suggestion or any feedback, please do not fear, please feel free to write in the comment section so that I can improve myself and also I can help you as your brother or as your friend. I can help you out in clearing your exams. Okay, bye bye. Thank you.